Catherine Bigelow's House of Dynamite wants to be the thinking person's nuclear thriller. Grim, serious and sober. But it's a bit too mainstream to achieve that.
The story begins with a single missile en route to Chicago. US detection systems have failed to determine the weapon's exact origin, but it appears to be North Korea. The film frames events such that the president must immediately decide whether to undertake massive retaliation. The Pentagon has denied cooperating on the Netflix production, though Bigelow herself says she worked closely with technical advisors in the security state. Internal documents from her Osama bin Laden movie, Zero Dark 30 from 2012, indicate she is willing to work closely with institutions like the CIA, but is wary not to associate her work too closely with such agencies. So, well, we'll see if she's being straightforward on that this time. In the real world, we're told constantly that Russia is testing NATO's resolve with drones made from wood and foam. The notion that any state would suddenly escalate from toy hardware to dropping a nuclear weapon on the continental United States is far-fetched, short of a total tech and safeguards failure. But even if a nuke somehow did hit Chicago, the president wouldn't have to reach for the Denny's menu of retaliation options. For a start, there is no way to determine even whether the incoming object has a nuclear warhead until it's actually exploded. It could be conventional, a possibility left underexplored by the movie. After 9/11, effectively a decapitation strike attempt on America's political and military nerve centers, America refused to be bounced into instant reprisals. In fact, it very carefully avoided retaliation against the principal source of the problem, Saudi Arabia, and instead spent the next 18 months cynically building the case for war on the irrelevant nation of Iraq. If a nuclear weapon hit Chicago, the same principle would surely apply: identify, confirm, deliberate, and only then act. Bigelow avoids the overt jingoism of a film like Red Dawn, but that doesn't make the film's premise any less sensationalist. It dresses up as a critique of living in a house of dynamite, but doesn't really challenge nuclear policy. The film accepts the framework. America is the eternal target, the rational centre surrounded by maniacs, and then wrings its hands about the burden of command. Even the Pentagon, in an internal memo, said that the movie reinforces the need for an active missile defense system and highlights that deterrence can fail. That's an extraordinary endorsement of a film they claim they didn't advise on. If you want a more likely scenario that could actually lead to nuclear exchange, try these. The US or NATO